9 minutes after 12 o'clock now. The wind beginning to pick up just a little bit, and the rain seems to be flirting with a few snowflakes out there. You like that? How's that for a forecast? Flirting with a few snowflakes.
That's some very colorful language, Barry.
You like that? Yeah. You got to, kind of puff it up because it's not doing a hell of a lot out there right now.
No. The storm coverage certainly drives ratings, so whatever you can do to embellish what's going on out there, the better, right? But it's if you look at it, it ain't that much thus far, which is good news.
Yeah, good news. Yeah. Well, I mean, the national media, the Weather Channel, all these guys, 4 straight weeks. They even named this one. Did you know this is called Toby?
No kidding, Toby.
Yeah, the Weather Channel called it Toby. So say hi, hello, Toby.
Toby, huh?
Yeah. So we'll see what Toby does to us later on. But our weather folks have been saying that it's not going to be all that much. I just heard.
The forecasts have been all over the map.
They have been all over the place. Yeah.
And I can remember earlier this winter I was lamenting how the forecasts were all over the map, and how we would look into subscribing to a forecasting service to get a more precise read on storms, and since then we've done that. We actually have a subscription to an outfit that does offer a more precise weather forecast, but in a storm like this, the forecast for this one, including the ones from the subscription service, are all over the place.
Yep.
Right? So yesterday there were calls for up to almost a foot of snow for New Bedford, and then there were other ones that said rain, and then they might get 1 to 3 inches or something. It looks like it's going to be somewhere in between, and so it's very difficult under those circumstances to figure out what you do with closing city offices, which we did not do, imposing a parking ban, which we did do, effective at 1 p.m. today. It's very hard. It's very, very hard to time. So,
the parking ban can be called off. By the way, we're speaking with Mayor Jon Mitchell. In case you haven't.
Thank you for introducing me.
Yes, hello.
Yes, it's become so routine, my show, Barry, that when people hear my voice at this time, they know who it is.
Yeah, just for those who don't know, that's Mayor Jon Mitchell. It's just called Midweek with the Mayor. It's a feature that we do on my program every Wednesday, and we're always happy to have the mayor in to do this. But we're figuring out. Parking ban you can call off at any time. You can. 2 o'clock, you can say, hey, guess what? It's not going to snow that much. Parking ban's off. Park anywhere you want. But sending kids home from school today, everybody was making this decision yesterday, and it wasn't New Bedford alone. It was Fall River and everybody around that area and up and down the Cape, and everybody canceled schools today or sent kids home early today. Was it really worth the chaos and all of that? I mean, my God, it's after 12 and it's barely raining out.
A couple of things. So that decision is left to the superintendent, is delegated by the school committee.
Which you are the chairman of.
Yeah. But, somebody's got to.
So that gives you some credit on the issue. You get to weigh in on it.
Well, I do, because I make the call on all the other things, the parking ban, the closing city offices, whether we delay trash, and we didn't this time. As I said, it's a moving target when you have competing forecasts. And so this is, what we have here now. If we knew precisely then what we know now, things may have been different, but
why not wait till the morning of?
Because
as chairman of the school committee, would that be something you would maybe advise the superintendent?
That happens from time to time, but it just isn't much notice. I mean, people need to plan their day, and if they're just hearing first thing in the morning, well, whether their kid's going to be coming home from school early or not going to school at all is, might not be received very well. I mean, it's better to get the word out, sooner rather than later.
Right. There's a lot of parents probably screaming and yelling at the superintendent right now because their kids are coming home in the rain, and they've had to maybe alter their work schedules or whatever in order to be home.
Yeah.
So, I guess you win some and you lose some, right?
You win some and you lose some.
Yeah.
I think most superintendents try to err on the side of caution. We are dealing, after all, with kids, and so and I think all the districts in the region have done pretty much the same thing, which is an early release day.
While we're on the subject of snow, there was an interesting article in the Standard Times this morning, which I identified with wholeheartedly. That was written by Michael Bonner. I'm sure you read it. Snowy sidewalks force disabled residents into the street. And this was based, I guess, on a complaint to the paper by Marjorie Blauhau, who's a regular caller here. And I'm sure you know who Marjorie is. But so here she is. She's a disabled vet. She says, with all of the snow that's out there, people are not shoveling their walkways, which is the law, right? I mean, you're supposed to shovel your walkway?
It's the responsibility of the property owner to clear the sidewalk.
Okay, and it hasn't been done in a lot of areas. And what adds to the problem is the city crews, which have to obviously clean the streets. Nobody's going to debate that. Clean the streets, get the snow off the streets, have made these humongous mounds of snow at most corners, and that covers over the ramps or the access, the curb cuts for folks with disabilities and wheelchairs, and people are having a very difficult time with this, including her and including myself. As you know, I love to go for my walk every night, and I've been forced to walk out in the street on Acushnet Avenue all the way down because either a sidewalk is not shoveled or you can't make it over those snowbanks. So after a week, shouldn't this be something that the city's cracking down on, maybe cleaning some of those, or is it the responsibility of the homeowners to clean those corners and have them open?
Well, technically it's the responsibility of the homeowner or the property owner, whether that owner is a commercial owner or a residential owner. But what we do, our guys do go out and try to push the corners in and make way, open up fire hydrants, open up the path to fire hydrants, and open up those ramps. And that takes time. And I think one of the biggest complaints that we get, probably the biggest complaint that we get, is that the plows push snow into my driveway. Right? We hear that all the time, and I get it. It's not. It's frustrating if you've been shoveling out your driveway and then a plow comes by and fills it all back in again, at least the opening of the driveway. But people, I would just encourage people to understand that the first order of business for plow drivers is to open up the roadways. And the reason for that is, we do have emergencies in the middle of snowstorms. Ambulances have to get to houses. Fire trucks have to get up and down streets, and so that's the first order of business. And then our crews, who do a really good job and are very capable, do go back and tidy up afterward. They push in corners. They'll open up walkways here and there, but everybody has to play their part. People, the more people who attend to their sidewalks, the better. The vast majority of people do. I send my kids out, as soon as it's done snowing, to go shovel off the sidewalk and to help neighbors and stuff, to do the same. But we just, if everybody did that, then we'd be in good shape. The vast majority of homeowners do that. We do have problems with commercial property owners in that way, and we usually don't ticket the day of the storm. We give people a fair opportunity to go out and clear those paths, but it's a never-ending battle, and we'll continue to do our best to enforce those provisions.
Again, completely understood. Top priority: open up the streets. Especially last week, we had a huge snowstorm. A lot of snow fell. And these huge mounds were created. But after a week, you would think there'd be some passage so that people can get up those ramps. Those are mandated by law, right? State law, federal law, I think, right? Those handicap curb cuts for people to be able to get up and down.
So you're saying that the city should open up all
Somebody
those?
should. I don't know who's responsible, but at this point, people shouldn't have to be walking down busy streets, and they should be able to have access to the sidewalks.
Right. So, the city obviously, with over 300 miles of roadway and who knows how many thousands of corners, it's the city's not really in a position to take care of every single one. It's not realistic, and that's the primary reason why the property owners are responsible for clearing those roadways. If we think that we have to, we haven't done a lot of ticketing on residential homeowners because sometimes that's unfair, especially if we have a lot of elderly in the city living in single-family homes, and sometimes it's hard for them to get to that. So we try to use our discretion. We have fined a significant number of commercial property owners. I mean, for instance, a lot of the national drugstore chains have been the recipients in the city, have been recipients of some of those fines over the last few years, and they've gotten a little bit better at it. But if we have to do more, we'll do more.
Downtown on Saturday, a lot of folks downtown for St. Patty's Day. Went to
you were there?
Greasy Luck on Saturday.
Yeah.
And walked down to Salante, and we stopped at a couple of spots downtown. And a similar problem.
Did you drink green beer, Barry?
I didn't. No, I didn't. That's like so not Irish. That is that's no. Nah.
Okay, you're above that. You're above that.
But a similar problem. As you know, my wife's on crutches right now, trying to find a place to pull up to because there was snow that was lining all of the sidewalks downtown. Most every sidewalk. We circled around downtown a number of times. We finally found a nice place near City Hall. But I had to find a place where I could pull my door up curbside so that I could go around and get her out of the car. But even that, it was like open my door a little bit, climb out and over a snowbank. And with so many people doing town for not only St. Patrick's Day celebrations, but the road race the next day, I would have figured there wouldn't be a snowflake to be found downtown. And yet, down every street, there were snow mounds on the sidewalks, right on the curb.
Mm-hmm.
That's not good for business, though. I mean, isn't it? I mean,
yeah, I get it. The snow's got to go somewhere, and we can't. Can't be dumping it in the ocean. Or there are Clean Water Act restrictions on doing that. We've done that before when we've effectively gotten a dispensation from the Environmental Protection Agency to do that 3 years ago in 2015 when we had one snow storm piling on top of the previous one again and again. We were effectively involved in undertook an excavation exercise and piled up, tons and tons of snow in the Whales Tooth parking lot, and some of that was ultimately pushed into the harbor. But that's a very, very expensive undertaking. So short of that, the snow's got to go somewhere, Barry. So having not a single snowflake in the downtown is probably not a realistic standard.
Maybe a couple. I would have accepted a couple. But it just, in seriousness, it wasn't very good window dressing. And I don't know who's responsible, the city or the businesses, but literally having to climb over snowbanks in order to go into a business downtown, it just didn't look good.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a good feel. It didn't look like anybody had given a real good thought to it. I don't know whether the Chamber or the Downtown Business Association or whatever should have thought more about that. But, welcome to New Bedford. Now, put on your snowshoes and climb over the snowbanks.
Yeah, I mean, if there are issues in getting up and down snowbanks, look, obviously there are going to be, after a big snowstorm, there are going to be piles of snow on the curb lines of the street. The snow is not going to disappear. If there are places that are impassable, people should let the city know, and either we find the property owner, or where it's the city's responsibility, the city will deal with it.
Is this an issue maybe the sheriff's inmates can help out with? I mean, whether it be the mounds of snow on street corners, or in a case like this where you have an extraordinary amount of snow, that the inmates can come in and help out. I know they do painting and they do some stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, you need that takes a fairly high level of coordination. So probably not.
Okay.
They've done a little bit of that stuff, but not. That's a hard thing to manage. I mean, when it comes to like trash removal, that's a pretty straightforward exercise. You put them on the side of a roadway with appropriate security, and they go to work. And this is a little bit managing the passageways along the street and shoveling all that out is a little more complicated.
So all things considered, how did the race go on Sunday? It's mighty chilly out.
Yeah, it was frankly.
Did you run?
No, I haven't been doing much in the way of exercising lately, but it's been a while since I've run that race. The last time I ran was before I was mayor, and even that wasn't the best experience. I thought I hadn't trained as much as I thought I figured out I hadn't trained as much as I should when I was passed by this 80-something-year-old guy who passed me fairly early on in the race, and then about halfway through, a kid who had to have been like 12 years old passed me. But the greatest indignity was on the peninsula at mile 9 on West Rodney French when I was passed by a guy who had a golden retriever on his leash. So I was passed by a dog, Barry. I knew then I was not cut out for long distance racing. So
the end of the running career. But how to go?
I'm still recovering from that humiliation. Now that's my excuse for not having run it again.
So a lot of people in the downtown over the weekend. Any?
Yeah,
the business. Or?
Yeah, when people come to New Bedford for that race, almost invariably the feedback is good. They like being here. I do think that we have to look at holding the race later in the season, though, and we should look at holding it on a Saturday as opposed to a Sunday. It was cold at the start of the race. It was like 25 degrees, and at the beginning of every race, I say a few words to the racers, and I start off by saying, I know how cold it is. I'm going to make this really short, right? But it doesn't. There are a number of considerations, but as to when a race is held, and a number of the participants are very active runners. They are associated with track clubs and from different cities, mostly throughout New England. And and they come because the race is certified by the U.S. Track and Field Association. So, if we reschedule the race, we'll have to make sure that it's a certified race so that we can attract all these folks in. There are about 500 of those folks, so we certainly don't want to lose them. But we also want to show off the city better, and it would be preferable for me, to my mind at least, if we held it in a warmer weather month when people can really check out the city, when the trees are in bloom and there's a lot going on, as opposed to the dead of winter. It's just holding it on St. Patrick's Day weekend every year just leads to huge variability in temperature. In some years it's been in the 60s, and some years it's been in, as it was this year, in the 20s with huge snow piles around, as you noted. So this isn't a decision for me to make alone. It's the Friendly Sons of St. Patrick have done a great job of organizing and managing the race in the last few years. They've really taken on that responsibility. And it's gone well. But we have started the conversation about moving it, even if it's just for a couple of weeks, even if it's just to the end of March. At least that way we reduce the possibility that we're going to be holding this race the week we've had a blizzard.
Mm-hmm. In between two.
Yeah. So a lot of people use the race as a train-up for the Boston Marathon, which is, I guess, always held on the third Monday of April, right? So if it gets too close, if it's scheduled too close in time to the Boston Marathon, we would probably lose a number of people. So we don't want to do that. But we have to think about this, and ideally, I'd like to see it on a Saturday, because that way we'd probably have more people stick around. And a lot of folks from out of town for the Sunday race, as it's scheduled now, split right afterward, and we'd like for people to stick around, go out to eat, maybe stay in the hotel for the evening, and so I think we have to consider that as well.
All right, let's grab a couple of calls, and then we're going to go to breaks. We've got a lot of folks that have been hanging on, so I'm going to grab a couple of them. Got some other issues to talk about, too. But in the meantime, let's start right over here. 508-996-0500. You're on first with the mayor. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, Mayor.
Good afternoon.
We have a problem here at Melville Towers. When we have very large snowstorms, it's very hard for us to cross where the octopus is, because they don't clean that little pathway that gets us across from Melville Towers to the Regency. We have to walk out in the street and around that big island. I was wondering if something could be done. We always have to wait for the snow to melt so we can go out again to go downtown.
Yeah, obviously, I appreciate the call. There are obviously a lot of seniors who live in Melville Towers, and we want people to get
we have 320 apartments here.
Yeah, so thanks for flagging that for me. I didn't notice, but we'll make sure somebody takes a good look.
And people in electric wheelchairs, if they have to go to the clinic. Yep. They have to go out into the street and around and try to get on the Regency side to go down to their appointment.
Yeah, good point.
Okay, thank you.
All right,
thanks for the call. Appreciate it. 508-996-0500. You're on next with the mayor. Go ahead.
You sure you really want me, honey?
Go ahead.
How you doing, Barry?
You get the
listen,
floor.
John, Jesus Christmas. These businesses, we cannot clear our fronts as quickly as you want us to.
Well,
So cut us a little slack, would you, hon?
Well, did you get a ticket?
No, but a friend of mine did, and he's an affiliate of mine, and gosh, he's doing all he can, and he's one of the biggest taxpayers.
Well, how much time are they given to clean? Other businesses?
A couple of days they're on his derriere. Come on.
Well, Barry's saying we're not enforcing enough.
Barry said that?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'm saying get the sidewalks clean because we can't walk.
Deal with me.
I have not found businesses, though. I haven't found too many businesses that are, usually when I get to the businesses, there are lots are cleaned out. My biggest problem is with the sidewalks in front of residential homes and the big mounds in front of the corners.
No, I'm talking business.
Okay.
Okay, businesses should not be fined because we can't clear out in 2 days. It takes me 3 days to do my place. And we're doing all we can, and we're your biggest taxpayers.
Yeah.
So cut me some slack, John.
All right, so you're getting it from both sides there, Mayor.
Get a dispensation. Not enough enforcement. Maybe it's just right. Maybe we're taking a Goldilocks approach.
I think we need to get some people with giant flamethrowers and just get out there and melt it all at once, right? 508-9960-500. We'll grab a couple more, then we'll get to the break. And you're next with the Mayor. Go ahead.
Yeah. Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon.
Hey. Okay. On the snow plowing, I was told several years ago, because I was cleaning out my driveway, and I got very frustrated, and I started throwing it back in the street, and I was told I could go to jail for that. Is that true?
I don't think anybody's going to throw you in jail for doing that. It does. We try to discourage people from throwing snow into the street for obvious reasons. If the street is plowed and there's snow being thrown back in the street, it's kind of, the plowing will have gone for naught.
I was wondering that when the plow drivers plow in a sidewalk or a driveway, what's their penalty?
Well, they don't have a penalty because they're trying to get the streets cleaned so that emergency vehicles can get up and down. I understand your frustration. All I'm saying is that, with snow plowing, everybody there's an element of collective responsibility. Everybody has to work together, and so it is understandable.
I think people can. I've plowed before.
Yeah.
And my suggestion to you once before was, instead of angling the plow to the right, angle it to the left. That way you don't plow.
Oh, because then you're blocking my driveway. You don't want to do that. You'll block my driveway then.
No, Barry.
I'm only teasing you.
When they go up the left side, the right-hand side, and they plow it to the left, then they go up the other side and plow it to the left. And that way, not only do you not plow people in, you free up the fire hydrants and the catch basins. And that's how they plow in New York. I was watching the last blizzard, and they have all the angles on the New York plows. They plow to the left.
Well, they do everything to the left in New York. There's no question about that. I'm going to hold you right there, though, and we'll let the mayor
that was
respond.
A double entendre.
You like that? Yeah.
Well
all right,
done,
let me take a real quick break. We'll come back with some more calls for the mayor right after this. Stay tuned. You're listening to 1420 WBSM, and this is Midweek with the Mayor. All right, welcome back to the program, Midweek with the Mayor on WBSM. The Mayor is in studio, 508-9960-500, and that is the phone number. We're going to grab some calls in just a second. I wanted to ask the Mayor about a project that's underway now down on the waterfront, and that is the cleaning of the old utility property, Nstar property down there.
Yeah.
So that's underway.
Yeah.
Where are we in that whole process?
And the cleaning?
The cleanup, yeah.
Well, Nstar is undertaking the Nstar. I keep calling it. I still have not.
Yeah, it's Eversource.
I have not transitioned to Eversource yet.
Right.
In my mind. So Eversource has started the cleanup, and they're doing it in earnest right now. And they're cleaning up that area, the area that is of soil that is the most contaminated. So I think it's about a $5 million project overall, but they tell us that is going to get the site substantially cleaned. There are, inside the building itself, inside the generating plant, there's still some work to be done, although they've invested in that cleanup as well. And the oil tanks are still being used by Sprague Energy. Whether they remain there in the long run is an open question. What happens there might turn on which offshore wind company wins the state procurement next month. That's at least scheduled for announcement next month. And so, for us, it's an interesting time. That's a property that's sat for a long time. I mean, it's been Eversource has used it, but it's 20. The two properties. It's actually two properties together are 28 acres, and they haven't. It hasn't been fully utilized, and who knows how long. I mean, really 100 years or so. So it's exciting that it's progressing.
So that's still privately owned, right?
It is.
So we have no real say in terms of what happens there?
No, I mean, we've done some waterfront planning about what we'd like to see there. And in general, what I'd like to see there is that in the northern part of the property, that that there be uses that are consistent with the downtown, right? So there could be more residential or conference space or retail.
Well, what a place for a casino, huh?
I don't think that's in the cards anymore, Barry. But to the south, we'd like to see more industrial uses. Yeah.
So this obviously it's privately owned. So this is something that the folks at the utility company would negotiate out.
Right.
Have they had any offers yet? Do you know?
So I know that at least one of the offshore wind companies is taking a hard look at it. I also know that there are some folks on the waterfront that would like to use some of that property as well. Yeah. And so
for shipping to the island, somebody had mentioned about that. That's why I'm asking about it today, because somebody had mentioned about moving some of the freight shipping to that area, to the islands.
That hasn't been a focus of the discussions around island freight. That property hasn't. I think there's interest in using some of it as a shipyard again on the south side of that property. But there is clearly what's different. I mean, there are two major roadblocks that are to the development of that property that are being removed. Right. One is that there are no longer casino options, or no longer options to purchase the property by casino developers. For a long time, that property was tied up because casino developers had purchased options to purchase the property. That's history now, and then the other thing was the cleanup of the site. It's a dirty site, and it had to be cleaned, and now they're cleaning it. So we're likely to see some interesting developments there.
What kind of progress is being made on the hotel? Every time I go down, the new hotel, when I go down Union Street, it looks as though things are moving along.
Yeah, it's scheduled to be open this summer. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's going to be a good project. I think 68 rooms, 70 rooms. I forget what the final count would be, but it's a really good project. They'll have another restaurant to add to the downtown as well, and I think it'll do very well. The other downtown hotel, the Fairfield Inn, is full almost all the time. They do very well. So there clearly is demand for hotel space there, and I'd like to see in the long run more hotels developed in the downtown.
One would assume that a new hotel would be a big plus for drawing new businesses into the upper part of downtown, which has been a challenge for years and years. Yeah. Have there been inquiries about some of the real estate, some of the property there by people?
Between there and, say, County Street along Union, there have been. We're working with one developer in particular on a site, on a development at the where the registry was, Registry of Motor Vehicles was up until very recently. So we'll see if that gets off the ground. And there's definitely more interest as you go up Union Street for sure.
Yeah, that parcel would include. That was right up to 8th Street, as I recall, right? And there's some Minerva's Pizza.
Right by Minerva's,
Lighthouse Bookstore and apartments up above. Does that include that, or?
Yeah, well, it's more. That's right next door.
Okay.
It's that general site. Ideally, in the long run, you'd like to see development along that part of Union Street to start to knit together the West End and the downtown, so that we get more people from the West End walking to the downtown. And so I think we're making some progress in that direction.
All right, let's go back to the phones. 508-996-0500. We'll start right up here. Thanks for hanging on. You next with the mayor on WBSM. Good afternoon.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hold on so long for this dumb question. Well, there's no dumb questions.
That's right.
No. Just dumb answers, right?
I'll try not to give you a dumb answer.
All right. with this parking ban, can we park at schools?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah? No problem. No ticket, no nothing. Okay.
No.
Okay.
So, see, that wasn't a dumb question after all.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry, but I held on so stupid long. And another
You're being way too tough on yourself.
They've already got their chairs and their toys and everything out here.
Oh, jeez, yeah.
And, I live off Cottage Street, and you can't park on either side of Cottage Street. I think it's only one side parking anyway, but they infiltrate the side streets. I live on Pope Street, and Locust Street's always crowded, Merrimack, and so on and so forth, you know. All right, and another thing, Barry, I got a question for you.
Yes.
When they call off this ban, are you guys going to tell us right away?
Well, as soon as we get the information, we'll pass it right on to you. Yeah. Is there an end to the ban, or has it not been announced?
So
yet?
So it remains in place for 48 hours unless it's canceled earlier. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. As soon as they get it to us, we'll get it right to you.
All right. And one more thing, Barry. I'm sorry to get after you for this, but
I like it that you're getting asked the questions.
I know. I'm getting picked on. You're supposed to be picking on him this hour.
I'm sorry.
The tables have turned.
I agree with the mayor with the snow downtown. There was a lot of snow last time. I was in Florida, but you guys dealt with
so rub it in, right?
No. No, but
he just wanted to pick on me today.
Did you have to take your wife on crutches downtown like that? I mean,
well, it's St. Patrick's Day.
Well, it's a great question. It's a great question because
go home and use some food coloring on your. You know what I mean?
What I want to ask. So now that we're asking Barry questions, why didn't Barry just drop her off at the front door? She's on crutches. She deserves it.
All right, time to move on to the next call. Appreciate it very much.
See you later, bye.
Thank you so much. 508-996-0500. You're up next with the mayor on WBSM. Go ahead. Hello, you're on the air.
Hello, am I on?
Yes.
Yep. Mayor Mitchell, where does the city council stand with the approving the city contract, with the new golf course?
That was next on my list here. I'm glad you asked it. Go ahead.
Yeah, so they have not fully approved it yet. It was reported out of committee last week, and it goes before the full city council tomorrow. Tomorrow, I think I'm pretty sure it's scheduled for tomorrow. So I would just, people should, I think it's, we've talked about this before, the organization that bid on the management of the golf course is a reputable one. The city, we'd always want more money to be paid to the city, but we had one bidder. It's a reputable one, and I think it should go forward. And most of the city councilors agree with that, but it requires a supermajority vote of the city council. 8 members have to approve it, and so I'm hopeful that the city council will approve it tomorrow. And if it doesn't, then I'm concerned about whether the golf course will be open in time for golf this spring.
It seems to me that the last time they met, the council I'm talking about, that 4 of the councilors did not seem like they wanted to vote for it. And I wonder if you could kind of talk to those 4 that, spoke up against signing the contract. I don't know what their holdup is, but
it was a little unclear to me. But we've
to be, spoken to and maybe clarify some things that they have a problem with.
Well, we've done that. We've done a lot of outreach, as you might imagine, and to try to explain why things are being proposed the way they're being proposed. And so I think Barry, you can ask them directly, but it's not clear to me what the rationale is for their opposition. Hopefully we will get 8 votes and it'll go through, and we'll be able to open up the golf course as it should be open. Although not today, I don't think there'll be too many people out there. But soon enough, spring will emerge, and golfing will be ready, and or there'll be interest in golfing, and hopefully the golf course will be open in time.
Thanks for your call. Appreciate it very much. We're going to get a quick break in here. If you'd like to chat with the mayor, 508-996-0500. He's here until 1 o'clock, midweek with the mayor. We'll be right back.
We are New Bedford. Bedford.
And it is 12:48. It is very lightly raining, or gingerly raining out there, just a very light rainfall. And it's going to change to snow at some point. A few inches, no big storm. I'm predicting it right now.
You heard it here.
You heard it here first in the Oracle, right? The mayor is with us until 1 o'clock, so are you. 508-996-0500. Let's get back to your calls. You are next on WBSM. Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon there, Barry and Mr. Mayor.
Hey, Al.
How you doing, sir?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing just fine. You were talking about snow on sidewalks. Well, I walk to the CYO, and most of the people on County Street don't shovel their sidewalks. It's a rare occasion when they do. Number one. Number two, Delano Street and County Street needs a stop sign. I was with a friend of mine.
Was there one there that has to be replaced?
I didn't get the person's plate. I was more worried about my friend's safety than anything else. So Delano and County Street needs to have a stop sign. That's
okay.
Number two.
I would think that there had to have been a stop sign there before, and it just needs to be replaced, right?
Yeah. There is none there.
Okay.
At the moment, let the record reflect that. And one last thing. A friend of mine sent me a picture while he was at the bus stop on Brock Avenue, and somebody was a real slob and a pig and left a bag of garbage behind. That doesn't make the city look good, if you know what I mean. So that needs to be addressed.
You got to go catch that guy, Al.
I wish I could. I'd break his arm.
Well, don't do that. That'll put you at the Tom Hodgson Hilton for a
That'll
for a
teach
year
him,
or so.
right?
Yeah, but I mean,
he'll never litter again.
Yeah, but you got to snap a picture of him, though.
Simply a caring individual.
Yeah, snap a picture of him, Al.
Yeah, just don't get me wrong. I'm not just take a photograph. That's all.
Yeah, don't hurt him. Don't hurt him. Just scare the bejesus out of him. That's all.
Question. Let me make this clear because I wanted you to get more callers. The person sent me that picture, and it kind of rubbed me the wrong way. So I just wanted to bring it to your attention. And the garbage is still in the sand barrels. I did a double check on that. And that one on County Street was on the corner of Fair and County.
Fair and County. Okay.
All right. Thanks a lot, Al. Appreciate it very much. Let's go this way. You're next to WBSM. Thanks for hanging on. Nope, you're not there.
Ooh.
Yeah, not there anymore. All right. We're talking off here about the superintendent search. We've gone through 2 of the 4 candidates. How's it going so far?
Well, I think the process has been very good. The set of questions that the school committee settled on, that it's asking every candidate, I think is a good set of questions. We have to, balance the need to really get into some depth, right, to discern, the qualifications of every candidate with, time constraints. We can't be there all night. We could be talking about education and their qualifications for hours on end, but that's not realistic. So I think the process we settle on has been pretty well received by everybody. The follow-up questions that committee members have been asking have been good ones. And so, look, we have it's a demanding and rigorous process, as it should be, because it's an important position. Our city, our kids, in particular, our students, deserve to have a really good leader for our school department, and that's what we're trying to secure right now. So we've had 2 candidates who've been up. One is Bob Girardi, who is the superintendent in Maynard, and he was up on Monday. And then last night was Heather Larkin, who is the head of guidance at Greater New Bedford Voc Tech. Friday will be Thomas Anderson, who's the superintendent in Randolph, Massachusetts. And finally, we believe on Monday, although I don't think so it's been confirmed that Anna Riley, who's the superintendent in Portsmouth, Rhode Island, will be up that night. And then we'll have a vote at some point next week.
We had just talked about the golf course a couple of moments ago. Council is expected to approve the golf course management contract tomorrow night. Taylor just asked me to ask you about a committee. The council is also expected to vote to form a committee to oversee management for the duration of the contract. Is that something that you're amenable to?
Management of the... Yeah, I don't know. I mean, none of the council...
Should the council have a role in overseeing the management of the golf course?
Well, the city council has a role in overseeing city operations, and so there would be a reporting requirement anyway. The city council can call in, the city auditor or the city CFO and ask, so how are things going with the golf course? And the city's facilities folks, the FFM, will have some responsibility to make sure it's over the continued maintenance of the golf course, not active maintenance, but it's they have to make sure that city asset is being well preserved. So I don't know that a committee is going to add anything to the council's ability to determine whether that city asset is working well or that the city's being paid adequately. So I don't know, but none of them broached with me. I'm just reacting off the cuff right now.
Right, absolutely. All
but
right.
That's all right. No, but in general, it's good that the council wants to make sure that that asset is that it functions well and it's serving its public purposes.
That could be the point that gets it over the line, right?
Yeah, I don't. Look, I'm not. It's. For me, I don't know that they have to form another committee to do that, but I think the sentiment's the right one. They should be, for a long-term lease like that, it's good that they're interested in making sure that it works well.
All right, let me take the last break. We'll be right back. 508-996-0500. Stay with us.
Show on New Bedford's News Talk Station.
All right, welcome back to the program. Got about a minute or so to go, and Greek flag raising on Friday at City Hall.
It's all Greek to me.
All Greek to me. Yeah, I knew that was coming.
Yeah, all the same Greek jokes. Yeah, no, Phil will be there. He's always there.
Yep.
And
he is always there, isn't he?
He is always there.
Yeah.
And if Virginia Callis is listening, I'd welcome some baklava. No,
a little Greek salad.
Yeah. The Greeks do know how to make pastry. Boy, it's at least pastry that I love. No, it's good. With all our flag raisings, it's an occasion to celebrate the melting pot that is New Bedford, which is pretty cool. So we did last week with the Irish, of course, and we'll have events throughout the year to celebrate. All of the influences in the city, the Azorean, Madeiran, mainland Portugal, Cape Verde, of course, Puerto Rico, you name it. So it's good. I like doing the fun, the flag raisings, and I especially like it when I get pastry out of it.
So we did do the Irish flag last week?
We sure did.
Yeah. I know the Friendly Sons used to get drunk and go there in the middle of the night years ago and raise the Irish flag on their own, and but I don't know if they do that.
Yeah. They don't want to be known as a drinking club anymore. And I can say that as a member. They do a lot of good work in the city with charities and scholarships, and as do many of our ethnic groups. It's good. It's good stuff.
Certainly is a melting pot, no question about that. Mayor, appreciate you coming in as always.
Thanks, Barry. Stay warm. Watch out for that blizzard.
Boy, I'm watching out for that snow. Yeah. Second day of spring. It's been spring for a little over 24 hours now. So.
It's just not feeling like spring, Barry.
Yeah, we're not feeling it yet. Maybe next week we'll feel it. We'll be back after the news. Thanks, Mayor, for coming in. News coming up next. Your calls on the other side. Stay with us. You're listening to 1420 WBSM New Bedford.